Hi everybody, I thought I would just jump online today because last night I had the worst dumping syndrome episode. It was horrendous. So I thought I would jump on today because I'd previously in my other video said that I thought I'd had dumping syndrome after I'd eaten some eggs and I was really sick straight afterwards. Trust me, that wasn't dumping syndrome. So last night, a lot of people have asked me what it felt like, how long it took. So I thought I'd just come on to explain what happened to me. So dumping syndrome, it happens if you've had bariatric surgery. So if you've had a sleeve or if you've had a bypass, you can risk getting dumping syndrome. So dumping syndrome is supposedly food that is high in sugar, and I've since found out high also in carbohydrate can give you dumping syndrome. And it's when the food from your stomach moves into your small bowel too quickly, sometimes called rapid gastric emptying. But it was horrendous. So it can happen anytime. It can happen 10 minutes, 30 minutes after you've eaten. In my case, it happened, I would say, probably 3 hours after I'd eaten. So last night we had dinner. The family were having sausage and mash with veg. So I had one sausage and I had a tiny little spoonful of mash. Wasn't very hungry, but I was taking my son to football, so I thought I'd had to eat something really because I wasn't going to be in for a good 3 hours. So I had one sausage, a little spoon of mash, chewed it really well, was really careful. I hadn't had a sausage before, but I'd had chicken, I'd had lots of other different meats, gammon, that had all been fine in my tummy. So yeah, chewed it really well. It went down fine, didn't feel ill. My stomach wasn't sore, just like any other meal that I've had this week. Seemed to be fine. So that was about 5:30. Took my son to football and we were there till 8:30. Driving home, it's about 35 minutes from football to come home. Driving home, I just had this overwhelming just sense of feeling ill. That's all I can describe. I felt cold, then hot. I started to sweat a little bit. I felt sick, felt like I needed the loo. At that moment, I wasn't aware what was going on. I just thought I was just feeling a bit sick. Thought it might have been because I hadn't eaten enough throughout the day, that I wasn't eating enough water, drinking enough water. And yeah, that's when it started. As soon as I got in, I immediately was sick. Now, when I say I was sick, but I didn't bring anything up. So it was just like dry retching for a good half an hour. Just couldn't stop myself from retching. And yeah, like I say, nothing was coming up. Again, I was really sweating. My face was red. My heart, I was having heart palpitations. And I just basically stayed in the bathroom for an hour. Kind of came out of the bathroom, felt a bit better, and then, sounds gross, hit the other end too. So I had really bad diarrhea and I didn't know whether I wanted to be sick or if I wanted to sit on the loo. It was horrendous. My husband was really worried. So yeah, I had cramps in my belly and then I started to be sick again. But this time, still none of the sausage on my dinner come up. It was foam is all I can describe it as. I know people say that they get the foamies. Not sure if I've had that. I don't think I've had that. But if this was dumping syndrome, that was all I was bringing up. I was bringing up like foam, like stringy liquid. It was awful. So by now it was probably about 10 o'clock. So I'd been going for about 8:30 till 10. A lot of people say that if you get this, to just lie down. So I tried to go to bed, laid down, couldn't get comfy. I was up and down in the bathroom for, I'd say, another hour. And I just felt exhausted. Again, I was hot, but I was cold. So all over my skin, I had goosebumps. Felt really cold inside, but outside, I was really hot. It's really hard to explain. So I had like these hot and cold flushes. Still, my face was bright red, still sweating. And I have to say, with the diarrhea, I decided to try and sip on some sugar-free Diarrhelite, which is like electrolytes. I've got it here actually. It's I call it Diarrhelite, but it's the equivalent of, so it's Hydro Boost, like that. So it's got all the electrolytes in it, vitamins and minerals, sugar-free. And I just sipped on that, and it did make me feel a little bit better. I did start coming round, and basically I don't remember going to sleep, so I must have just kind of almost passed out, in fact, because the next thing I remember, I woke up, it was about 4 o'clock this morning, and I'd felt like I'd had a round with Mike Tyson. I felt a lot better. The sickness had gone, everything else had gone, but I just felt exhausted and my tummy was still a bit tender. So that was my experience. I don't know if it's like anybody else's experience. A lot of people I've spoke to on Facebook said, yep, they've gone through the same thing with sausages. So just beware, it's not all sugar. I've been completely sugar-free since my liver reduction diet. So for 7 weeks, I haven't had any sugar whatsoever. So I know it's not sugar. I've been having mashed potato since my puree stage. So I know it's not that either. So it must have been the sausage. A lot of people said it's because sausages are, in theory, they're full of rubbish. So they're full of, bread, crumbs, bread, lots of different other bits of, who knows what they put in sausages. So yeah, mine was an Aldi sausage, an Aldi pork sausage. So yeah, never again am I eating sausages. So that was my experience. So yeah, I had the bypass 7 weeks ago, and last night was my first dumping episode. So I haven't eaten very much today. Kind of a bit wary to eat at the moment because my tummy is still a bit sensitive. And I guess mentally I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to eat anything. So yeah, I don't know if anybody else has felt the same. If that's how they felt, hope it doesn't happen again. But I just thought I would jump on to explain that's what happened to me. I've also I'm going to put a video at the end to explain, because a lot of people have asked me, why can't you drink 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after you have eaten? I find this super hard. Pushing my liquids in throughout the day. I'm not even hitting a litre of fluids a day, really. I find it really hard. And to be honest, the only time I really fancy having a drink of water is when I'm eating something. I don't know whether it's because of the salt content in the food, or if it's just a habit that I got into because I used to drink lots when I was eating. But yeah, the reason is that if you drink before you eat, you fill up too easily, and therefore you won't get enough food and proteins into your body. If you drink after you've eaten, as the video shows at the end, it pushes through the food, so you don't get any of the nutrients, and again, you don't feel full. You're hungry really quickly. So that's the reason. And hope the video helps. Hope this video has helped with dumping syndrome. Like I say, it has happened to me with just carbohydrates, just the sausage. No sugar was involved because I'm completely sugar-free. So yeah, just be careful, guys. Anyway, I will see you soon.
30 minutes after we finish eating before we should drink. So we wanted to show a little visual here of what happens to the food in our stomach. The applesauce here represents what we've eaten, and the funnel is our pouch. You'll notice after that first sip, it really speeds up how quickly food is moving through our stomach. Here at the second sip, you'll notice again that it's really pushing through things pretty quickly. And we're about to take our third sip, which almost empties the pouch entirely. So we're supposed to hold food in our pouch as long as possible so it gives us the feeling of being full. And you can see if you're drinking while you're eating, you're never going to get to the point of feeling full.